Nature produces independent morality and ability to choose upon puberty, with sanity and no early puberty disorder. In my country, 30 is the new 12, in people's lack of accepting responsibility in the true order. The infantile has its will to consume and expel with nothing besides. The child stage is where one has gone past the mother and father stages and knows what to put to the side. Paths and acts need to be considered as if from the inside. Now, I guess I'm going to share some of my comment on voodoo possession, my experiences with the Loa, an EA Quetting video. But before I get into that, let me remind you that what Aleister Crowley said about the 10th degree, or even the 9th degree, and some of his teachings and experiences were a result of trying to deal with the trauma of being sexually abused in boarding school. And okay. I love how it is said, written and directed by E.A. Quetting, thus letting us know that he authored and controlled it much in the way that Joseph Smith had that when he was the author of the Book of Mormon, and that he directed his sermons and rituals rather than being natural conversation or as the mouthpiece for some unseen spiritual entities. You know, because if you're going to call yourself a god, you definitely can't be sharing someone else's doctrine now, can you? Grimoires and most systems knowingly deal with Jinn are. Okay. There is a difference between devotional service and your Freudian misinterpretation of slavery to God, as if it is victim mentality. The Jinn, by any name, are not there to be our slaves. You know, like Michael W. Ford and his Luciferianism, it's sort of the Karcist sort of thing. I'm not a Satanist, I'm not a Satanist, I'm not a Satanist, but I invoke and evoke demons. It's like, okay, well, but you think you're in control, so you call yourself a Karcist. That's what those people do. I can understand how people convince themselves how names, types in the same places in different languages are not the same thing, but to act like reading a couple of Eckankar books and talking to some Golden Dawn people gives you an understanding of the Goetia and world religion. You know, it's a faith game that E.A. Quetting is doing. All of fictional movies are a lot of fictional movies are more accurate, but they could really be a bunch of people severely damaged from drug abuse trying to work out their own theistic and satanic and oversimplified version of world religion. Anyone who has acquired his books, paid for his media, or has seen a detailed review knows the real blinder is how extremely ritualistic, servile, and dogmatic become a living God rituals are. If no amount of money can buy it, why would we need to pay for any ritual work and pacts? Why would not the so-called actual teachings not be step by step on your page? I keep confidences, but I do not withhold spiritual teachings. I have for only paying customers. Eric Arcalis Quetting, and I'm not going to say his real name here, talks about priestcraft, like his role as Eric Arcalis Quetting is not as bad as those he speaks against. He doesn't seem to be teaching that the Loa will help a person get away with the more disturbing distortions that these Jinn may bring upon thoughts and impulses, as he did in earlier work in regards to crimes and sex perversions for demons. Yeah, he really tells you to try what you consider perverted and criminal, and the demons will help you get away with it. Aleister Crowley wasn't quite so direct. That it was about controlling your, controlling your taste in life, your experience, being master of that. You didn't necessarily have to go to those lengths. So some of what you hear about the 11th, 10th, and 9th degree of the O.T.O is not quite what one thinks. I feel like their practice is based on fiction, curio shops, and they basically say they are generally making up the details as they go along. If they aren't sure what they are making up and what is spiritual contact, why take their advice? Why does EAK hold an unlit cigar the whole time? What could that possibly represent?